Hello. Here we're going to describe a fascinating feature of Praxis called markups. Markups, in a way, is the opposite of datum. If datum is a way to encapsulate discrete data and embed it within free text, then markups is the ability to take free text and to merge it into data fields so that you can query them in your clinic, or so that you can transfer this information to other clinical systems. Now, the latter part may be a little bit complicated to understand at first, or confusing, except when you realize that other EMRs do not work with free text. They work with fields and records. So what appears to be a very normal text that any human can understand, computers unfortunately cannot. When you use markups, you basically translate free text into discrete data which computers can make a sense of. So we'll do an example of this so that you can understand what we're talking about. Let's say that we want to add the pain rating scale to this discussion of DJD. All right, I have already created it, so all I need to do is paste it, so we don't have to type right now. Okay, now let's say she's 7 out of 10. Okay, fantastic. Now this is nice and any human can understand this, but if you wish to transmit this to other systems, they don't understand this language. So you need to transform this into something they can understand. In addition, of course, if you want to do a query, you need to have some kind of basis to be able to do that. You need fields and records. However, in Praxis, you can write free text like this. Okay? So how do you transform this into a discrete data field? Well, we're going to go right in here, okay, and we are going to transform this into a discrete data field. And we're going to do that. We're going to do that by selecting this area and right-clicking into Send to another markup. And we're going to call this markup Pain Severity Scale. And enter. Okay. Now, you will see here the expression it is a goal. We will probably change this expression to CCDA. But the whole idea is that in CCDA there's an area called goals. And if you click this area, then whatever you enter here, pain severity scale, and its value will be sent via the CCDA to any other EMR and on any other clinical system that will be able to understand it because of the code. Okay. How do you find the codes? That's pretty easy. We go right here, and here it found the LOINC codes. LOINC codes, as opposed to SNOMED codes, are codes that represent the names of fields. For example, here you have 3 of them that are possible. Pain severity with numeric scale. Okay, now the one that we found is a little bit different than that. We'll look at it right here. I found it via, and very easy to find these codes, by the way, in Google. So let me show you. I do this Google Pain Severity Scale LOINC. Boy, that's pretty difficult, and there it is. And I'll open it, and there it is. All right, and it says it's a 0 to 10 verbal numeric scale. That's how they define it. So if I look at that, and I copy it here, and I go back here to my case, and I click it right there, I can delete that and put the actual value, and it will find it. There it is. It's pain severity scale. That's a LOINC code. Okay? And I'm going to go ahead and cancel. All right, there it is. Okay, and I'm going to save it. All right, now this may sound complicated, but in fact it isn't, because from now on you're all set. Anytime you copy this text to anything, you will have the pain severity scale not only in free text but also in discrete data. The numbers you put here will be linked to a special field that has just been created within the database. Will be, if you decide to, will always be included in your CCDAs, and you can always query it, which we'll demonstrate later on. So let's go ahead and save with knowledge, so I never have to do that again. Save knowledge here. Okay, overwrite. So now we're all set. And let's now save the visit. Let's do another patient right now to show you how easy it is now to add these things on. We'll look for the assessment. Go back to the history of present illness. 8. Now, we're done, okay? If I save with knowledge, the code is there. How do you know? Well, I'm going to select the markup, pain severity scale, and you can see that it has been highlighted. You don't have to do it because it has been highlighted anyway, but I just wanted to demonstrate that this thing is active. In either case, I'm going to go ahead and save it. And save the visit. And now let's do a third patient. In this patient, James Billings, I'm not even going to do that. I'm not even going to select the markup. That markup has been selected. So let's do DJD. Oops, how about if I spell? Again, we go to history of present illness. And this is a 9 out of 10. And I leave as usual, ignoring the markup. The markup has been placed anyway. And I'm going to save the visit. Now, how do we know that this has happened? How do we know that we have a field with the markup? Well, that's pretty easy. We'll go to the queries, and let's say we want to do a report or build a report. All right. Now that you have created all these markups, how do you visualize them? In other words, how do you query them to find out what patients have certain pain thresholds in your clinic? Now it should be pretty easy. We do have a view called Markups. H, as you recall, the letter H means the history of all markups. And you can place the markup and the text. You may want to put in the line code since we already have it. Okay, and the text. All right, and let's run it. And indeed it's giving you all the markups. That's nice, but we don't know what patients it belongs to which. So let's go ahead and add that information. One of the elements is the encounter ID. So we're going to go ahead and add the encounter. And I'm going to link the encounter ID to the ID of the encounter. And we'll put the date and time. Now we know when the encounters took place. And the encounter tells you who the patient is. So we'll add the patient. And we'll add the first name, the last name, and we're going to link that. Okay, we'll run the query again. And it tells you what patients had what things. You can change the order. That's pretty easy to do. Take the date out. This text off. Put the date back in. It goes in the order that we're putting them in. Markup, text, line code, and text. And now let's order it. Order by patient last name, patient first name, and encounter date, time, descending, or the latest visits first. And let's run it. All right, and here we have the list of my patients and their pain severity thresholds for those encounters. Okay. By the way, these brackets can be eliminated down the line. Okay. So, and it happened because we were not selective on how to get them in. It shouldn't be a very big problem to remove the bracket from the result. Now, clearly this is very nice, but you don't want to do this every time, so let's save it for everybody else to use it. Pain rating scale. List of all patients with their pain scale. One more thing. If we just leave it like that, of course, tomorrow we'll create a different kind of measurement device and it will appear here too. So we need to basically create a criteria that will only look at the pain severity scale or at the line code that we see here. All right, so that's very easy to do. We'll move the order to the bottom here and we add a where clause. Where markup like pain, and you have to spell carefully. All right, and if it's perfectly scaled, it should work. It worked. Now only the pain severity scale will appear. Now we're going to save this query and we're going to find it. Now anybody in the clinic can run it. Not only that, but this can be transferred, of course, to the clipboard, and then you can open up your favorite. My favorite could be Excel, and I could do studies and report them. Nothing could be easier than this. All right? And of course, these things can be automatically removed. That's pretty easy. All right? Okay, I hope this has been useful. If you have any further questions, do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.